Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Vegas 75. Vettori versus Cannonier. I'm pretty sure 75. If it's not, my apologies. I'm pretty sure 75. We back. We back with another Apex card after a pretty okay pay-per-view. In Canada, so it sucks to be back in the Apex. At least we leave the Apex next week. We head to Jacksonville for Ilya Tapoya and Josh Emmett. That's gonna be great. But yeah, not really much to say. This is a very weak card, I'm not gonna lie. It's very much carried by probably these three fights and a couple like Torres, Quiñonez, and that's long and short of it. Yeah, not the greatest card in the world. Main event is a close fight, not a good fight. I'll talk about that more later. But overall, I don't think it's a bad card. It's just very, very mid. So, yeah. But so I said that with Durden and Hill, I believe, or I might call Durden and Hill a bad card, and that became one of the best fight nights of the year. One of the best cards of the year, so not much really to say there. So, always a card that we underestimate become great, so let's underestimate this one, see if it becomes great. So, I'm gonna say so a couple more times. Yeah, not much more to say. We got 12 fights to break down. We did lose a couple fights, which I'll talk about in a minute. But, yeah, not much to say besides please like, comment, sub. 100 subs go by the end of the year. We hit 20! 20! Holy fuck! I am blown away. Thank you. From bottom of my heart, thank you. I never thought I would hit 1, let alone 20, and let's hit 100. End of the year. I know we're in the like dead ass middle of the year. I think it's possible. 50 would be nice. 50, I think, is a lower bar, but if we hit that bar, I'm happy too. You know, 100 subs is my goal, but 50 would be amazing too. So, not much to say. You want to break down some fights? Let's break down 12 fights for UFC Vegas 75. To talk about the elephant in the room, we did lose 2 fights today. We lost Honey Barcelos and Miles Johns. That would have been a really good fight. It's a shame we lost that fight. And we lost Zumagula versus Felipe Burns. At least Zugals got rebooked for next week. So it's cool that he's gonna go out into the crowd and have a fight against another debuting guy, but yeah, it sucks that we lost those 2 fights. But yeah, we still got 12 fights, and it's like I said, it's a very wishy-washy card. It could deliver, or it could be a huge disappointment. So let's break it down, yeah, let's break it down. Not much more we can do besides that. So, we begin the night with a fight in the light heavyweight division between 2 mediocre fighters, I believe. And we got Modestas, the Baltic Gladiator, Bukauskas, versus Zach the Ripper Pauga. It's a fight. Good? No, it's a fight. Let's talk about Modestas Bukauskas, a dude who came back to the UFC after getting cut, and yeah, he came back with a nice upset win against Tyson Pedro. Tyson Pedro is shitty, but so a win's a win, and yeah, he came back. If you watched my breakdown for this fight, or even my breakdowns for his other fights, you know I've never really been the most positive about Bukauskas. I don't think he's very good. I think he's a very underwhelming fighter. Like, nothing really I've seen from him screams a good fighter. And like, I don't think he's very good. Like, in his first UFC run, he only had 4 fights, but in those 4 fights, he beat Michulitis, who's garbage, KO'd by Krut, respectable, lost to Oleszejczyk. That's not great, and his most famous fight, getting his legs snapped by Khalil Roundtree. Again, oblique kicks should not be illegal. He just never did anything to impress me. like that he beat Mitrilitis, who sucks, and then lost to 2 decent guys and 1 guy. But then he went 2-0 in Cage Warriors after getting cut, and then he re-signed, fought Tyson Pedro, and beat him. Again, Tyson Pedro's pretty shitty. I'd say a little better than Mitrilitis, but how much is that saying? Yeah, like, Bukauskas in his return looked alright. He couldn't finish Pedro when Pedro was beyond gassed. But still, like, for a comeback fight in Australia against Pedro, I guess he looked alright. Like, he clearly won. I think a judge had it like 29-28 or some shit, which is stupid. Bukauskas won all 3 rounds easily. But if I remember, I could be wrong, but I think I might be right. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't show anything. He looked better, but how much worse could he really look? He did look better, but still, I gotta see more. And until he fights someone actually good, Zach Pauga's not that person. I'm gonna have a hard time actually saying much good about Bukauskas. And except with how shit light heavyweight is, if he were to like get ranked or anything, he doesn't mean shit. Light heavyweight's pathetic outside like the top dogs, so I don't know. I'm still not very high on Bukauskas. Yes, he did make me look stupid in the Pedro fight, but still, I gotta see more. To talk about his opponent, Zach Pauga, this dude's alright. I'm not very high on Pauga. I'll start with the obvious things. A, he's 35 years old. Red flag. B, he's a light heavyweight, which is, well, fine, nothing wrong with that. But then you look at his frame, he's very short. Like, just compared to Bukauskas, he's only 1 inch shorter. But he really does not have a great look, but frame for light heavyweight. Like, if he could go down to middleweight, I think that'd be his weight class. He fucking fought on tough at heavyweight, so respect to him for that one. But like, I just don't think. I think middleweight would, or if they did have a weight class, if they had a like 190, that'd be his weight class. He just seems a little too small for. He's too small for heavyweight. He's a little too small for light heavyweight, I think, and I think he's too big for middleweight. So I think a even middle would be nice. Like, he came in like pretty fine. Like, in his first light heavyweight fight against Jordan Wright, he looked alright, but they gave him literally the easiest fight you could get. And like, yeah, look, he's way too small for heavyweight. Dude, he came in 239, so he didn't cut weight. He just walked on scales. But enough talking about that. He is 1-1 in the UFC, coming off tough. He did get to the finale, and he fought Mo Usman, got flatlined badly, and then he came back actually pretty quickly, and picked up a win against Jordan Wright at light heavyweight. That Jordan Wright fight was terrible. All he did was clinch Jordan Wright for 15 minutes. Pretty shit fight. Like, against a guy like Jordan, not finishing Jordan. I think this is Jordan Wright's first ever decision. Like, I actually think this might have been Jordan Wright's first ever decision. Like, I think it was the first time he ever went to the 3rd round. Yeah, only time he's ever went to decision. That's embarrassing for Pauga, and he could have finished him. I think. I think he easily could have finished him if he actually tried. He just had no killer instinct, and that's not a good look. Like that, you already have some negatives as is, and to have no killer instinct is even worse. Like, I get most of your wins are by decision. I think you trained Curtis Blades, who is not known for fucking finishes. But come on, dude, Jordan Wright, come on. That was sad that you let him get to the end of the fight. Clearly won 30-27 across the board. But come on, man. Yeah, you could say the same thing for Bukauskas against Pedro. Like, you really couldn't finish these guys? That's sad. But, yeah, not much to say about Pauga. He's not very good. He's very underwhelming. He can, if I'm remembering correctly, he could pretty much go anywhere. He's not really great anywhere, but he can fight anywhere. His striking's His grappling is He's just very Like, he has a good gas tank, kind of. He does go at elevation fight team, which is that Justin Gaethje? I'm pretty sure that's Gaethje, and that's in Denver, I believe. So yeah, you're gonna have good cardio. Yeah, Blades, Magni, Sandman, etc. So yeah, he has a good gas tank, but still, he's just not very. Pauga's just not very good, and again, with no killer instinct, a very bad look. So not much to really say about either guy. The betting odds for this fight have Bukauskas minus 165 to plus 140. Yeah. I think I'd move Bukauskas down a little bit as a favorite, maybe to minus 150. Like, even for, I think Bukauskas is better everywhere, it's hard to trust him. Like, it's hard to trust these guys. These guys are not really known for their tough chins or talent anyway, so I do think Bukauskas should be the favorite. He is better everywhere, and I think he's just the better fighter, but still it's hard to be very confident. He is the bigger fighter too, like longer reach, 1-inch height advantage, so yeah, all that to his advantage. More experience by a mile, really a light heavyweight, etc, so yeah. Who am I going with in this fight? I am going with Bukauskas. For the first time ever, I think I'm picking him. He should win this fight. He could either clip Pauga like Mo Usman did, he could just outstrike him, like he probably will. Like, he's just a better fighter, and nothing a lot about Pauga's talent when Bukauskas is a better fighter. Oh no, I did pick him against Olszewski. And Michelada. But yeah, it's really right now. It says a lot when. Are you fucking kidding me, you loud bitch? I'm sorry if you hear that. I can't really control that shit. Fuck off. As I was saying, Bukauskas should win this in either clipping Zach or just decisioning him. So I'm going with Bukauskas to win this one. It should not be a hard 90 office for him. Don't get clinched up, don't get elbowed, don't get cut up, don't get kicked in the leg. Go home, get a win. So Bukauskas by decision should not be a hard night for him. Pauga's very, very bad. So yeah. After that, to move into our second fight of the night, we had to bantamweight for a alright fight. Not a fight I'm jumping for joy for, but it's not a terrible fight. As we got Ronnie the Heat Lawrence versus Daniel the Determined Argueta. It's not a bad fight. It's a battle of two okay bantamweights. Let's talk about Ronnie Lawrence, who it felt like he's been off forever. I feel like we've not seen Ronnie in a long time. I'm pretty sure we saw him at the end of last year. Yeah, about this time last year, a little couple months ahead. Ronnie in the UFC is 2-1. His 2 wins are Vince Cachiro and Mana Martinez, and his 1 loss is Sergio Kakramanov. His 2 wins, Camacho, as you should be beating him. Mana, that was a great fight. He did get hurt late in the fight and lose the third, but Mana's a dog. You really can't get mad at that. And yeah, Ronnie showed a lot of heart in that one. And then against Sergio Kakramanov, what can you really do? Like, it's Sergio, a dude who's a fucking killer and should have not been cut at all. The fact that he got cut is sinful. is fucking sinful by the UFC, but that's a story for a different time. Ronnie's alright. He's always moving. He's a good wrestler, mainly wrestler. He has some KOs, but I think most of them are TKOs if I'm correct. Yeah, ground and pound, ref stoppage. He actually does have 2 KOs, but still most of them are ground and pound shit. He's not a terrible fighter by any means. He's very decent. Like, he never gonna win anything, of course, but he shows talent. Like, he could beat a guy like Mana and that other dude, but he has the ceiling, and a guy like Salikhov, who could easily be a top 15 dude, is a very good feeling to have, I think. Yeah, Ronnie's not bad at all. Like, and being off for a year to get better, 31 years old, come off his first UFC loss, good is good. Like, he had one fight booked in that time, but it did get cancelled. I think he pulled out, and it actually was probably good. He pulled out. That fight was very close after the Salikhov fight, and against Cameron Simon he would have lost. So he takes hard fights. I'll give him that one. He does not take easy fights. Castaneda, Salikhov, Cambro, and Simon. Dude takes no easy fights mainly. So I'll give him that much. Yeah, he's an alright fighter. Like, he's very alright. He's never gonna be like, you're never gonna watch one of his fights like, you're never gonna watch one of his fights and think, wow, this dude's gonna be a problem. But you never watch one of his fights and think, oh, this dude sucks. You watch his fights, if he wins, you're like, yeah, he's good. Yeah. And if he loses, yeah, bad night. Like, he's good. I think Ronnie's pretty decent. And I think this is a good fight for him. A guy on paper, and a lot of people are saying he should beat. So I think it's a good comeback fight for Ronnie after an 8-month layoff, 11 months, my bad. So yeah, good comeback fight for Ronnie, and like I said, he's a decent fighter. To talk about his opponent, Daniel Argueta, this kid's good. This kid's pretty good. He is 1-1 in the UFC. He came in on short notice in his UFC debut to fight Damon Jackson, where he put up a really good performance. Put up a very good performance against Damon. If it was a 5-rounder, he would have won. He really woke up in that 3rd round and almost finished Damon. In his second UFC fight to begin the year, on the first card of the year, he beat Nick Aguilera in a fight he just dominated pretty much. He just dominated this fight for 15 minutes from what I remember. Pretty easy win for him. And he just showed how good he's good. He showed a lot of heart in the Damon fight. He showed how good he is in this fight against a dude he should have beat easily, and he did. He also was on tough, as you can see. He did lose in the first round to Ricky Torcios, but we all know tough Ricky, Ultimate Fighter Ricky is just weirdly good. UFC Ricky has not been so much. I've not been so lucky, but whatever. What can you do? Yeah, Daniel's good. I think he's a very underrated fighter. From what I've seen for 2 fights, showing hard against a dog like Damon, and now dominating a guy you should easily dominate. He's looking good, man. Like, he's looking pretty fucking good. And I think he only can get better. Dude's very young. He's only 29. And this is only his 11th MMA, like, pro fight. So, dude could get better. Dude could get real better. And I think he will. And I think this could be a real fight that really shows a lot of Daniel's potential and talent. I'm not saying he's gonna be a top guy. No, not a fucking chance. But I think this, if he could win this one, he will put himself in that category of guys like Davy Grant, fucking guy, guys like Davy Grant. Who else? John Castaneda. Guys who are good. Not ranking good, but are good. Ronnie Lawrence even. So, yeah. Not much to say about Daniel. This is his first real, like, prove-it fight. So, yeah. I'm excited to see Daniel back already. Again, 2nd or 3rd fight in over a year. Crazy. So So, yeah, the betting odds for this fight have Ronnie Lawrence minus 150 to plus 125. I agree with who the favorite. I disagree with the odds. I would definitely move Ronnie down a little bit to maybe a minus 125, minus 130, a smaller favorite, but a favorite still. I get where people are coming from. We've seen more of him. We've seen him in there with better guys, and he's not a bad fighter. But neither is Daniel, and I feel like people are really counting out Daniel here, which I think is stupid. Like, incredibly stupid. So, gonna be real interesting, this fight. It could really go either way, I believe. And what way do I think it's gonna go? I'm going Daniel Argueta. I think he'll be able to keep up with Ronnie's really good cardio. I think he'll be able to keep on his feet. I think he'll be able to do just fine on the ground. I think he is the bigger guy, looks to probably be the stronger guy. I think he can squeak this one out not by a lot. It's probably gonna be a split or a 29-28, but I don't think it's gonna be some dominant win for either guy. But I do think Daniel, the underdog, will get the win in this one. I think he's gonna show how good he actually is. And is this his first fight at bantamweight, by the way? Was his fight against Nick Argueta not at bantamweight? Featherweight. So that's weird. What about was this fight for fucking bantamweight? Huh? So this is his first cut down to bantamweight. All right. Did he fight at bantamweight in LFA? He did. Okay. No. Though for some reason UFC's just been doing 145 fights, but now he goes back down to bantamweight. Cool. I like that. Yeah. I am gonna go Daniel Argueta to win this one. Again, I think he can squeak out a win. I think his skills are not much worse than Ronnie, if they even are. So I'm gonna go with Argueta to squeak out a win here. So yeah, Daniel Argueta by decision. After that, we had to do the only female fight on the card, and it's actually, on paper, it's a shit fight. But if you really break it down and think about it, it's great matchmaking, because you'll see a common theme with these two in a second. So, as we got Tereza, Ronda, Bledá versus Gabriella, Gabby, Fernandes. The reason I think this is a great booking is these two are both coming off they're both coming off UFC debut losses. I'll talk about those fights in a second, but I think this is a great fight. Whoever wins gets their first UFC win. Whoever loses drops their first two UFC fights and could be even cut. So I think the fight on paper sucks, but I think the circumstances and the weight behind it, I guess you could say, it makes it a little more interesting. So yeah. So that's the backstory of the fight. Let's talk about Tereza Bledá. Bledá in the UFC, of course, is 0-1. She is coming off contender series where she beat someone I think a lot of people were high on, if I remember. No, never mind. She beat some fucking nobody. But yeah, she came in at a minus 600 favorite, which looks good on paper. She looked good on contender series from what I remember. She looked good against not someone very good. Obviously, she's minus 600 for a reason. But yeah, from what I remember, Tereza looked fine. It's her UFC debut where things get interesting. They did not give her an easy debut. Throwing her to the wolves right off the bat was Natalia Silva. Dude, what the fuck? Could you get a harder debut? Like, they had no care for Tereza. Thrown in there with Natalia Silva. R.I.P. dog. R.I.P. And the funny thing, she didn't look bad. She won round 1 on all 3 judges' scorecards, and yeah, if I remember correctly, probably. But then Natalia and easily took the second and knocked her out in the third. But yeah, taking a round off Natalia Silva, not many have. Even Jasmine Jasdavicius didn't do that, if I remember correctly. So, congrats to Bledá on that one, Chief. That's pretty fucking big. She did gas, and her gas tank did look very questionable in that fight, but I'm not really going to judge her on losing to Natalia Silva, just like I said last week. People shouldn't do that with Jasmine Jasdavicius, because that's fucking stupid. If you're going to judge someone on a loss, you can't just judge them because it's a loss, judge them because who they lost to. If I lose to fucking John Jones, are you going to crucify me for it? No. But if I lose to fucking Mike Jackson, yeah. Get it? I think it's common sense. So, I'm not going to say anything bad about Tereza losing to Natalia, because again, it's Natalia Silva, and also, like I said, Bledá took round 1 on all 3 scorecards. I think the only person to win a round off Natalia Silva so far, which is fucking insane. So, Bledá's not bad. Her striking is very bad. If she gets it to ground, she's good. On the ground, she's good. It's just on the feet, she's not. She's not good on the feet. And, yeah, she's very weak on the feet, and I think she really... Fuck, if anything, you can call her a weaker Jasmine Jasdavicius for Natalia Silva. Weaker on the feet and weaker on the ground, but still decent on the ground. Bledá's not bad at that. Like I think she's like top 5 youngest fighters on the roster. So let that sink in. Talk about Gabby Fernandes. I almost said Gabby Garcia. To talk about Gabby Fernandes, she also had came in on short notice for a UFC debut that she lost to Jasmine Jasdavicius, and there's not many positives I can say here about it. She got demolished 30-26. When it hit the ground, or when it even hit a clinch exchange, she looked lost, and for 15 minutes Jasmine just sparred pretty much. Not a good look for Gabby Fernandes. I've seen highlights and all that. She is good on the feet. She is very good on the feet. She can't do shit on the ground. She's lost on the ground. And if it hits the ground again, and this one, I feel like it's another long night for Gabby. So, I got a lot less to say about Gabby, because did not win a round against Jasmine, did not show anything good at all against Jasmine, and fuck, she came in as a decent favorite and got dominated. So, what I was thinking, not much positives I've seen in Gabby's debut. So, yeah. Talk about the betting odds. Tereza Bledá minus 275 to plus 220. I agree with the favorite. I would even agree with Bledá being minus 200. But I would move her down. I would say she should probably be maybe a minus 210, 215, because my one worry is her gas tank. Unlike Jasmine, she could gas, and I would not be shocked to see a third round where Gabby has a little left in the tank and she lands a nice body kick or hits Bledá in the right spot, or some shit like that, or even in the second, late in the second, or even in the first. If Bledá can't get this to the ground, she's gonna get fucked up. But if she gets this to the ground, yeah, she should easily win this fight. So, not really much to say, unless Gabby got better on the ground in 3 months, which I'm not holding my breath. So yeah, not much more to say. Who am I going with in this one? I am going Tereza Bledá. I think she should win this one. get to the ground and win up 30-27. Maybe a 29-28 if a later round does not go well, but overall, Tereza Bledá should win this pretty soundly. So I'm going to Tereza Bledá by decision. 30 minutes on 3 fights. I'm a good YouTuber. Trust me, they'll start speeding up as we go, maybe. After that, for our 4th fight of the night, a fight I really am not caring about. I could care less to even break it down. A very weak flyweight fight between Carlos Hernandez and Denny's Psycho Bondar. Let's talk about Carlos Hernandez. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this fight. Carlos is 1-1 in the UFC, I believe. Yes, he is 1-1 in the UFC, coming up to Contender Series. In his UFC debut, he had a razor close fight with Victor Altamirano that could have went either way. He looked alright. And then in his second UFC fight to begin the year, he got subbed in 3 minutes by Alan Nascimento. You're not mad at that at all. Alan Nascimento is very good. So, you can't get mad at that. They've given him one decent fight and one very hard fight back for the first 2 UFC fights, so they're not very nice to Carlos, I've noticed. But yeah, I'm not really got much to say about Carlos. I've not been impressed with him at all. Like I said, against Victor, he looked alright. He did not impress me much. It was a razor close fight. I don't even remember who I scored it for. And against Allen, like I said, he just got ripped in half. As you should, though. Like, as you fucking should. El Nascimento is very good. So, not really much to say. I got very little to say about Carlos, because I'm not gonna force myself to say something, because I just got very little to say. He's very just very so yeah. To talk about his opponent, Denny's Bondar, some interesting things to say about him. He is 0-1 in the UFC, making his UFC debut early last year. He lost it, but he didn't lose it in a normal way, and I could hardly really call it a loss to an extent, because what happened was Malcolm Gordon got on his back. I think he got thrown. Like how you get thrown off the backpack. Dude, like bends down, throws you off. If I remember correctly, it was like I believe Adrian Muniz and Jacare Souza. Gordon landed on Bondar's arm and it broke. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. Yeah, he got his arm broken by not even a submission. It wasn't an arm bar. Literally, an accidental. And maybe I'm wrong. Was it an arm bar? I'm gonna rewatch that fight, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot like Muniz and Souza, where he just fell on it. Or am I stupid? I don't know. I know his arm got broken. Was it a submission or was it fucking just an accident? I don't know. But either way, he did get his arm broken, and even for the little bit of time that fight was going, he did not look very good against a guy like Malcolm Gordon, who is shit. I don't know, not a very impressive UFC debut all around. Not against a layup like Gordon as a huge favorite. He should, even if that arm break happens no matter what, he should have looked better. Especially coming in the UFC on a huge winning streak, looking like getting a lot of finishes and all that. Very unimpressive UFC debut for Denny's Bondar. But he did his real UFC debut with that injury happening, so I'm hoping this can actually end in a real way, and hope no injuries happen. So, from what I've seen from Denny and heard about Denny, like I said, he has decent power. He's mainly a grappler, and he's just alright. So, from what I've seen in the Gordon fight, so yeah. The main odds for this fight have Carlos Hernandez, -135 to +110. I disagree, I would have it a pick'em. Neither of these guys have shown me anything. Hernandez has looked very underwhelming in his first two fights, and Denny's Bondar looked very weak against Gordon, besides the arm injury. So these are two dudes who need a proving win, because even with Carlos actually getting a UFC win, he still didn't look very good. In a very close fight. And Victor Altamirano is very good, might I add. Well, Victor Altamirano is very okay. I think he's better than both these guys by far. But I don't know, not the best fight in the world by either guy that night. So I don't know, this fight's very close, not because they're good, because they are so kind of underwhelming as fighters, but who am I going with? Fuck. This is a couple fights on this card like this where I have no idea which way I'm leaning. I'm just gonna cover a couple of them because I don't fucking know. Nah, I think I'm gonna lean Carlos Hernandez. I want to know how Denny looks after that arm injury. He was getting dominated by Malcolm Gordon. Well, not dominated, but he was losing Malcolm Gordon. Carlos is the bigger guy. Like, he's fought more recently. Again, he is not coming off his arm being broken. A lot of things to factor in, and that's why I'm slightly, and I mean fucking slightly, leaning to on the side of Carlos Hernandez. I'm not confident in the slightest, but I will lean his way very, very slimly. So I'm gonna go Carlos Hernandez by decision. I'm not confident, but I have more. There's more pros. There's less cons to Hernandez than there is to Bondar. He ain't coming off a broken arm. He was not losing to Malcolm Gordon. He's fought more recently against two better dudes than Malcolm Gordon. So I'm gonna go Carlos Hernandez. I think he can get the win here, and yeah, I'm going Carlos Hernandez by decision. After that, we got into the first fight I can actually call. No, actually, I take it back. The second, actually, pretty decent fight of the card. And of course, it's that bantamweight where all good fights happen, it seems. As we got Kang, we got Mr. Perfect Kung Ho Kang versus Cristian Problema Quiñonez. Very good fight here. I'm very excited to see one of these guys back for the first time in a while, and the other guy, I could care less to see. Let's talk about Kung Ho Kang. Kang, very underwhelming lately. Maybe he was good at one point, but from what I've seen in his last couple fights, not very great. In the UFC, he has 7-3-1. I won't talk about his earlier UFC fights. I don't think A, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see him, and B, I don't think they really show who he is right now. So we'll go from 2019 when he had 3 fights. He was decent in 2019, then he took a year off because of COVID mainly, almost 2 years off, then comes back into Ronnie Yaya and looks very He did drop Ronnie, but who hasn't? He just looked very nothing really special about it. He got beat on the ground by Ronnie, which I'm not mad at, but still not in a terrible fight, no less. Just nothing really to write home about for his performance here. And then for his second fight, his last fight against Donna Gabriella, he won. Yeah, he a way better performance. Meaning that Donna fell off pretty bad, and Kang was able to just easily do what he wants and get a decision win. Like, he's all right. He is older. He is 35, and he is starting to fight consistently again. So, I've not been impressed with him in his last 2 fights. Yeah, he beat Donna when I said he should have got destroyed, but still, I don't know. I'm just not very. I don't know, I've just not really seen anything from him lately. Again, maybe younger Kang was better when he in 2019 and all of that. But from what I've seen in his last 2 fights, I'm just seeing a very meh fighter. Nothing really special about him. To talk about his opponent, a guy I think is very good, and I think a name people are going to want to learn pretty quick and remember, because I think he's very good. And I've only seen 1 fight of his, and he's showed a lot. I'm talking about Cristian Quiñonez. He is only 1-0 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series, where he looked alright from what I remember. It was his UFC debut where he showed out, knocking out Khalil Taha in about 3.5 minutes. Khalil Taha, a guy I don't think is very good, but he is very tough, and Quiñonez put him out. Maybe a questionable stoppage if you want to go that route, but still, he dropped Taha and probably would have knocked him out if the ref didn't step in when he did. So, just for that first fight alone against Khalil, who I think is a step up from Kang, that's a very interesting debut. He showed power. He's very young, only 26, and he's looking good. He looked good, and he gets a step down competition here. And I'm interested to see how he does, because I remember that fight for a while. Been almost a year since, a little under a year since, and he's a guy I've been keeping my eye on. Like I remember. Oh, fuck. I remember booking him in a fight idea not long ago. But, they must book this fight very recently, because I remember putting him in a fight idea. But, whatever. I'm excited to see Cristian back. And I'm happy they gave him a pretty easy matchup, I would say. So, not very much to it, you know. Yeah, I'm excited for this fight. I think this fight's gonna be very good. Very good. The betting odds for this fight have Cristian Quiñonez -175 to +150. Yeah, I'd probably move Cristian up a little bit, maybe to -190, 185, something along those lines. He's a better fighter now, at least. He's younger, by 8 years. He's just better. Maybe on the ground, Kang is better, but besides that, on the feet, Cristian's better. And he's taken less damage, fought weaker guys. That's a pro and a con. This, that, the other thing. I think Cristian should win this one pretty soundly. So, I am going Cristian Quiñonez. I really don't see Kang winning this fight, unless he gets a boring 15-minute decision, but I don't see that happening. So, I am going Cristian Quiñonez by knockout in the first. I think he taps that chin and puts him out like he did Taha. Not much to it. Cristian Quiñonez by knockout in the first. First finish. Took 5 fucking fights. And now we go into our featured prelim. We are not even out to prelims when it's been 43 minutes. Why do people watch my videos? Our featured prelim, which was not meant to be a featured prelim, it was meant to be Barcelos and Milo Johns, but we get what we get, and this fight's kind of weak. And we got Jimmy the Brick Flick versus Alessandro Nono Costa. Let's talk about Jimmy Flick. Jimmy in the UFC is 1-1, right? He only had 2 fights in the UFC, right? Yeah, he's 1-1 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series. In his UFC debut, he beat Cody Durden, looked great, flying triangle, etc. And then he retires for 3 years. Comes back against Charles Johnson and gets dominated. He looked pathetic. He looked like shit. He looked rusty, he looked shitty, and he looked like he shouldn't have fucking came back. You could say he came back for a paycheck, and I wouldn't fucking lie. I might agree. Like, he looked awful. Again, and Charles Johnson ain't no pushover, but still, Charles Johnson is not fucking a great fighter. And you beat the dude who just dominated Charles Johnson. The fuck? I don't know. Yeah, maybe retiring for 3 years was fucking stupid. But, yeah, he retired, came back, and looked shitty. This is his prove it fight if he still has it, or if he's just here for a paycheck. Even if he loses this and looks good, then okay, you can have a positive. If he loses this and looks like a joke again, Jesus Christ, man, like, my God, that's just pathetic. And you just go to Bellator if you're gonna show up for a fucking check. Fuck. To talk about his opponent, Alessandro Costa, because what else to say about Flick? His fighting style is, I have no striking, please grapple with me. And that's more said. To talk about his opponent, Alessandro Costa, I like how they got this picture from Instagram, good job. Tapology. Costa is 0-1 UFC, coming on short notice for his UFC debut against Amir Albazi. Jesus Christ. Could that be any more unfair for him? He did one on Contender Series, not get a contract, left, got another one, then said yes to Albazi, and yeah, got beat. You can't really get mad at it. Yeah, he got knocked out, but Amir was pretty good. Actually, Amir was really good. Yeah, he survived 3 rounds, and he showed positives. Like I said, going 3 rounds, he didn't look like a complete pushover. He clearly lost. Even if World went to decision, he clearly lost. But yeah, he had no chance. Let's not lie to ourselves. And this is his first real UFC fight, and I'm interested to see how he does. This is a big fight for both guys. One dude gets to show if he's actually still in it for the want of it, or if he's here for a paycheck. The other dude gets his first real fair fight. I think that's very interesting. One thing that worries me: the height, not a couple inches, and grappling. That could play a big factor, The betting odds for this fight have Costa minus 240 to plus 190. I disagree. I'd have Costa a smaller favorite, minus 150. He should easily be the favorite, but not at 200, because we didn't get to really see how good he is. He fought Amir Albazi and got destroyed. I'm not gonna say anything bad about that fight, because again, Amir Albazi, on short notice no less. You lost, and you got dominated. Now you need to prove it, and this is a prove it fight. So I would have him minus 150. He should still be the favorite over Flick after that Charles Johnson shit performance. And yeah, who am I going with in this fight? I gotta go Costa. Going with Flick is fucking insane. You are trusting a guy who just looked awful against Charles Johnson and could easily just be doing this for a paycheck. Ooh. Good luck with that. He could catch him in a submission. Besides that, he's not going to win this fight. I wouldn't be shocked if this is like a Paul Craig fight or a Claudio Puelles fight. Flick's just on his ass for 15 minutes, scooting towards him most of the fight. Costa should probably win this fight. He's better on the feet, not saying much, and I think he could hang on the ground to a point. So I am going to go Alessandro Costa to win this one. Not really much, pretty self-explanatory why, and the fact that it is so weird to look back on who Cody was in the Durden or who Jimmy was in a Cody fight, and now you're picking Alessandro Costa to beat him. That's crazy. So I am going Costa to win this one, and I'm going to say by decision. He should not be a hard night for him. Just don't get subbed. He should get a dub. Costa by decision. So those are prelims. Not very much bad. I think the good and the bad were pretty even. And now I move on to the main card, which is it's alright. So let's begin this 6-fight main card with a pretty weird fight, but not a bad fight. We got the King of Kung Fu, Muslim Salikhov, versus Danish Dynamite, Nikolas Dalby. Decent fight, very fun fighting styles, Kung Fu versus Karate, I believe. It should be fun. This should be a very fun striking match, and let's talk about the King of Kung Fu. Salikhov, 30 39 years old, and he looked fucking amazing in his last fight. He tripped against the Leech. He had a terrible performance against the Leech. He comes back and he fucking does whatever he wants to Andre Fialho. Like, it was scary how easily he destroyed him. Like, this dude is still pretty good. Yes, he is 39. Yes, do I really trust his chin to hold up against like decent guys? No. But fuck, he ripped through Fialho like he was nothing. So respect him on that front. I mean, great way to come back after a loss. And yet he's had ups and downs in his UFC career. He's 6-2. His only other loss was to Alex Garcia in his debut. Besides that, he went on a 5-fight winning streak, beating no one right like Zaleski and Fernandes are good back-to-back wins. But besides that, you're reaching for anything else. And yeah, now he's back in a win column fighting Dalby. The step down to a point, maybe, I don't know, it feels weird. Like, this dude was ranked a year ago. I think he's ranked going to the Leech fight. If not, he was ranked a little bit before the Leech fight. Dude was ranked not long ago. And now he is out of the rankings and fighting Nicolas Dalby. Weird. He went from the Leech to Dalby. Weird. To talk about Nicolas Dalby, he's alright. He's alright. He's also old, 38 years old. He has seemed to woken up in his last two fights. Waking up, beating Claudio Silva and Warley Alves. Not great fighters, but still back-to-back wins. That Warley fight was not great, but he did win. And yeah, he seemed to be waking up finally. Like, he had a little bit of a skid. Like, and he had that no contest against Jesse Ronson. He beat Daniel Rodriguez, which aged really good at the time. And then lost to Tim Means, a pretty shit performance. But then, in that chance, I forgot he had a first UFC run. He had a draw of Darren Till. Dalby's alright. He's not great by any means. I can barely call him good. He's just alright. And at 38 years old, yeah, I've not seen not really many positives with Dalby, I don't think. Not many positives. The betting odds for this fight have Salikhov minus 200 to plus 170. Yeah. Salikhov's just better. Like, out of the two pretty fun, crazy styles, Salikhov's better. The Kung Fu is better than the karate in this one. Dalby, I don't really know how Dalby wins this besides a really weird decision. I don't see him finishing Muslim. He's not going to be able to sub him. So, he's going to really need to pray he can squeak out a decision. For Muslim, I could easily see him catching Dalby, or I could just see him beating him to a 50-minute decision, which will probably happen. Yeah, I really don't. I think this is a weird fight for Salikhov and pretty much a demotion. Hopefully, if he does win, he'll get back to fighting actually some competition. So, not the worst fight in the world, but just kind of weird. So, who am I going with in this fight? I am going Muslim Salikhov. He should win this one. It's not really rocket science. Kung Fu beats karate in this one, and I think Muslim gets another win. So I'll go Muslim Salikhov by decision. After that, we head into a really fun fight in the lightweight division. I'm gonna hydrate real quick. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. But for our next fight, our second fight of the main card, we have the lightweight for a fight between Nicolas Iron Motta and Manuel El Loco Torres. Decent fight. Let's talk about Nicolas Motta. Let's talk about Nicolas Motta. I don't know what the fuck happened to my voice. Nick in the UFC is 1-1 coming off the Contender Series where he got a contract. It took him a while to break in that contract. He got it in 2020, didn't break it until 2021 or 2022, my bad. And yeah, he broke it in against Jim Miller, and he got his chin broken. Got KO'd by Miller when Miller was on his streak of KOing, debuting guys. And yeah, you can't get mad at losing to Jim Miller, but still he got knocked out. And then his second UFC fight late last year, he got his first one beating Cameron Van Camp. Not saying much. Cameron Van Camp is pretty shitty. Mo's not terrible by any means. He's done some things in his career. He was on Tough. Got to round 2. He beat Joe Selecki back in the day, which has aged pretty decently. And yeah, he's not bad. He seems a little short for lightweight. He is 5'9". That seems a little short. Maybe I'm insane, but I don't know. Seems a little short. He is still very young, and he's not bad. He has power. He's a decent striker, and he could easily crack some chins, man. He cracked Cameron Van Camp's chin, but that's not saying much. So yeah, Motta's good. Motta is not bad by any means. Talk about his opponent, Manuel Torres. I'm very excited to see Torres back after it felt like forever. I know the fight was only about a year ago, but dude, it felt like this dude's been off for fucking ever. Like, coming off the Contender Series, getting a first round knockout, then to make his debut against Frank Camacho. Yeah, it's Frank Camacho, who's a joke, but still, make that UFC debut, knock Camacho out, and then be off for a year kind of sucks. He should have fought 3 months ago against Trey Ogden. He had medical issues, but he's finally fighting, knock on wood, this weekend. And actually a better fight than Ogden. He would have ran through Ogden. Manuel's good, man. A lot of power, good striker. All his wins are in the first round. My bad. 99% of his wins are in the first round. He only had one win that went to decision, and that's probably been a long time since that one. Yeah, it's been a long time. He's very good. He's 28 years old. A year off to get better. This is a good fight. I'm very excited to see him back finally. I think we could have a really good lightweight prospect on our hands if he got better and if he wins this one, as he probably should. So I'm very, very interested to see how he does in this one. Well, this is way harder than Trey Ogden. This is harder than Frank Camacho. I'm interested in how he does in this one, because he could get his chin cracked here. I don't think it will happen. I doubt it. But he actually has to respect the power coming back, unlike with Camacho and all that. So yeah, the betting answer for this fight have Manuel Torres minus 165 plus 135. Yeah, Torres has looked better in his one fight, in his one win. We don't talk about the Jim Miller fight. Jim Miller's a goat. So in their one win in their last fight, Manuel looked better against a guy who's also shitty, but he was his debut. I don't know. I'm trying to make it seem like this fight could go either way. I'm gonna go Manuel Torres, and I think it'll be. Sorry about that. I think it'll be pretty. I don't think it'll be the hardest night for him. He might get cracked a little bit, but I think one way or another he will get the win, and yeah, go 2-0. So I am going Manuel Torres in this one, and I'm gonna go by knockout in the first. If Jim Miller could crack that chin, Manuel Torres probably will also. So I go Manuel Torres by knockout in the first. After that, a fight that I have not wanted to break down because I don't fucking know who I'm going with. As we got Pat Sabatini versus Lucas Almeida. Let's talk about Pat Sabatini. Pat in the UFC is 4-1. His 4 wins are Tristan Connolly, Jamal Emmers, Tucker Lutz, and TJ Laramie. His 1 loss is Damon Jackson. For his 4 wins, he pretty much did the same thing for 3 of them. He just Khabib'd. He looked amazing. And in his one finish, he snapped Jamal Ammer's fucking heel, or whatever. This dude was looking great. Like, going into the Damon fight, I was calling him a great prospect. I thought he could have been something really good in the division. And then Damon Jackson front kicked him in the face and finished him in about 80 seconds. Or about 70 seconds. Not the best look to get finished by Damon Jackson like that as probably a giant favorite. Yeah. So, not the best look, but he's been off for almost a year. And, I think Pat is very talented. Dude's wrestling is insane. If he actually can get a striking base, same thing I said with Jasmine Just Vicious last week, is a striking base can make Pat a fucking problem. Like, cause right now you're not scared of his striking, you just are scared of his takedowns. Like, he has 1 KO win, I guarantee you it's a fucking, no, actually it's not, I thought it was TKO. Like, I think Pat's pretty good. He just needs to get a good striking base, and he does go to a good gym, I believe. From that, I think he could have, if he's smart, he's been working on his striking for the last year, especially going into this fight, where he's gonna need it, because this is not no easy fight. This is gonna be a tough one for him. So, yeah. Talk about his opponent, Lucas Almeida. Lucas in UFC is 1-0. He made his debut on very short, well, not very short, but he did make his debut coming in on short notice against Mike Trevano last year, almost a year ago. He did lose on contemporaries, had another fight, won, and then stepped in. And he looked good against Trevano. He showed a lot of heart. He got dropped, he came back, he had a dogfight with Trevano, one of the best fights of what an amazing fight. Excuse me, from last year. It was just a great fight. Showed a lot, answered some good questions about him. He looked good, man. He looked really good. And now he's back finally after these 3 fight cancellations. He was meant to fight last week. Hakeem Dawodu pulled out, and now he's fighting Pat Sabatini. Was Pat meant to fight someone? Or did they just say, yo, Pat, where the fuck where you been? No, okay, so, interesting. Yeah, this is an interesting fight. A striker versus grappler. Clear which is which, clear who's better at what. And, yeah, talk about the betting odds. Pat Sabatini, minus 185, no. Pick 'em. This would go either Pat gets it to the ground or Lucas keeps on his feet and probably finishes him. It's gonna be an interesting fight. The main question I have is, did Pat get better striking over last year? Cause especially going into a fight like this, he needs it bad. If he goes into this fight with the same striking he had against Damon, he's getting knocked out. Like, I'll be honest, he's getting knocked out. And it's his fault. Lucas does gas. He did gas against Huber. If I remember, his gas tank wasn't amazing against Trevano. He was just able to keep enough to finish him. So that's another factor. Pat has a great gas tank. He's good. I'm excited to see Pat back, to see if he actually did improve his game. Because again, if he got a decent striking base, he'll be a problem. So, yeah. So who am I going with in this fight? I've been torn on this fight, but I think I'm gonna go with Pat Sabatini. I think he'll be able to get it to the ground. I think he'll show off decent enough striking to make Lucas think about it, and that'll get him the takedowns early, and later in the fight, late round 2 in the 3rd, Lucas will be tired, and Pat will be able to just grind on him for another however long and get to win by decision. So I am going Pat Sabatini to win this one, but I won't be shocked if he gets finished. So I'm going Pat Sabatini by decision. Could go either fucking way, to be honest. After that, we head to middleweight for a fight that I'm shocked ain't happening in London. Mainly because I'm shocked they booked this dude in the Apex. As we got CLD, Cristian Leroy Duncan versus Arman Superman Petrosyan. Good fight. Let's talk about COD. COD is 1-0 in the UFC, quotation marks. He really should be 0-0-1. Because, let's be honest, Dusko, he really didn't beat Dusko. Dusko blew out his knee. So, pretty much is his real UFC debut, because all he did was spar for 2 minutes against Dusko. Yeah, this dude's really good. Great prospect for the middleweight division. He is undefeated, coming from Cage Warriors, being champion. This dude's really good. I think this dude has a bright future. 27 years old. Could be a problem. Like, he showed, I think he could be very good. And I think Arman is a perfect test for him. Not because Arman's good, or he's but because Arman is so tough. If he could, we'll see how CLD will be able to do against someone as tough as Arman Petrosyan. So I think that'll be very interesting to see. But yeah, overall, I want to see more from CLD. But from what I've heard and little I've seen, dude's really fucking good. And I'm very excited to see him fight again. I'm shocked he didn't get booked in London. To talk about his opponent, Arman Petrosyan. Arman's had an up and down UFC career. 2-1 in the UFC, coming off the Contender Series, a vicious knockout. His 2 wins are Gregory Rodriguez and AJ Dobson. His 1 loss is Gabriella. If I'm being honest, he probably should be 1-2. He probably should have lost that Rodriguez fight. Amazing fight. If you did not see that fight, go watch it. It was such a good fight. But he probably should have lost that fight, to be honest. Against Kaio, what do you expect? Kaio's so fucking good, it's sickening. Kaio just dominated him for 15 minutes. And then he easily beat AJ Dobson, as you should. But, yeah, it's crazy how long this dude's been off. I feel like this fight was forever ago. But, yeah, he's now back. And, yeah, the dude's tough, really good, decent on the feet. His grappling's very whatever. Mainly his striking is what's scary. The fact that he went 15 hard minutes with RoboCop says a lot. And he was in there the whole time, man. He gave Rodriguez a fight, and respect him for that one. Even if he did probably lose it, respect him for that one. Dude has heart. Dude's not that bad. He's not talent-wise, he's not very good, but like, dude's a dog. Dude's definitely a dog. So, yeah. Yeah. To talk about the betting odds for this fight, we got COD at -155 to +130. I'd probably have Duncan up to -170. He should win this fight, if we're being honest. This is a step up from Dushko to an extent, but still, like, Arman's not very good. Like, I think this is just a fight to get COD a real first win before they get him back in London. They probably book another fight for that London card pretty quickly. Yeah, COD should win this fight. Could Arman spoil everything? Yes, he could wrestle him. He could catch him, of course. But do I think he will? No. Not in the slightest. And I am going to go COD to win this fight. I think he's going to finally show out. Because, again, he really should be 7-0-1. Because he really didn't beat Dushko. Dushko blew out his fucking knee. So, yeah. I am going COD to win this one. And I'm going by knockout in the first. I think he can break Arman's chin. Because that thing's his chin's taking a lot of damage, so I think he could do it. So I'm going Cristian, Leroy, Duncan by knockout in the first. Gonna be interesting. After that, I'm not gonna waste your time. Arman Tsarukyan's going to do whatever the fuck he wants in this fight and win however the fuck he wants. Lock of the fucking year. I'm going Arman Tsarukyan by knockout in the first. He should not take a punch. He should not break a sweat. Next. And now for the main event of the evening. A close fight, not a good fight. And we got Marvin, the Italian Dream, Vettori, versus Jared, Killer, Gorilla, Cannonier. Like, will this be a fun fight? Probably, but it's still gonna go 25 minutes. And does it mean anything? No! They both already lost to Izzy. Like, already, like, not long ago, a year, almost 2 years ago, Vettori got 50-45 easily. Jared got 50-45 easily. Like, dude, these two, Izzy wouldn't waste his time with a rematch, because he already beat this Marvin twice, and why waste your time with 40-year-old Jared Cannonier? Just stupid. So, yeah. So this is pretty much who goes up and who stays high in the rankings to probably lose to someone. So, yeah. But talk about Marvin Vettori a little bit. He is pretty much a wrestler, grappler, whatever you want to call him. He can strike. He is tough as fuck. He might be one of the toughest fighters in the UFC, because I don't know what it takes to finish this fucking guy. I will be shocked if all 5 of his losses have been by decision. I see why. Like, watch the Pauga Costa fight. He literally ate like a head kick, Yoel style, if I remember correctly. Some of the most insane shit I've ever fucking seen. He might not be the best fighter. Trust me, he's not. Sorry if that was loud, but trust me, Marvin ain't the best fighter. Dude will take a punch. Like, Whitaker fucking destroyed him. He never went down. Like, he never looked like he could be finished. Against Roman Dolce, he took a lot of punishment. He never looked like he can go down. Dude, I want to see if anyone could ever actually finish this fucking guy. Because, dude, he is tough. Like, stupid tough. Like, too tough. Fuck. For Jared, we know we're there with Jared. A lot of power, good striker. That's it. His wrestling's his power's great, but the bad thing for him in this fight, and a big reason my pick is who it is, he's not gonna finish Marvin. I want to see what punch will finish Marvin, because I don't think Jared has it. If Costa, Whitaker, Izzy couldn't do it, fuck if Jared's gonna do it. I just don't see it happening. And Jared, the weaker gas tank, weaker ground game, weaker chin. Like, 25 minutes helps Vettori. Like, and plus, if we're being honest, Jared's probably coming off a loss against Strickland. He probably should have lost that fight, so he really is on a 2-fight losing streak. He had a way worse performance against Whitaker. He got his fucking ass beat. Jared's not a bad fighter by any means. Just, I kind of think him being such a long standard, being a ranked dude for so long, top ranked dude for so long, kind of shows middle. Both these guys because both of these guys ain't very good. Like, if middleweight had the talent bantamweight did, talent wise, dude, these two would be lucky to be in the top 15. They're not very good. I think that stands for most of middleweight. Outside of Izzy, Rob, and outside of Izzy and Rob, middleweight's pretty bad. And thank God we're getting new guys like Ikram and Abus, because I'm tired of these guys. I'm tired of Vettori, Jared, Strickland, fucking Brunson, who else? Like, there's another name I'm fucking blanking on pretty badly. Drake hasn't been around long enough to get tired of. Fucking Hermanson, oh my god. Like, dude, middleweights, like, Brendan Kaio. Two more great young dudes that were getting into the division more, which is amazing to see. So, like, I don't know, I'm not high on either of these two, but who's the better fighter? Marvin Vettori. Who has more ways to win? Marvin Vettori. He could finish Jared. It's not gonna happen. He could. he could out-wrestle Jared. Jared couldn't out-wrestle him. Marvin has a better gas tank, better chin, fucking younger by a good margin, 10 years younger. Like, yeah, he looked pretty underwhelming against Deladze in a fight he could have lost, but besides that, like, I think that's an off night for him, and I think he'll get back on track here and give Jared another main event loss. So, like, the betting odds being minus 115 Marvin, plus 125, I agree. There's, like, nothing to say there. I agree completely. So, I am going Marvin Vettori to win this one, and he should win a decision pretty soundly. Like, we're getting a decision in this fight. The only other finish I could see is a submission by Marvin, and that's not gonna happen. Like, neither are gonna get a KO, and Jared by submission. I don't think you could show, because no one's ever picked that. So, yeah. Could Jared get another lucky decision? Of course, but I think Marvin, I think in the first 3 rounds, it'll be close, but I think 4 and 5, Marvin will probably out-wrestle him and win those rounds clearly. So I think it'll come down to like a 3rd round, 2nd round, whatever. So, whatever. I am going Marvin Vettori by decision. I think he's a better fighter in many ways, and Jared's big way of winning most fights he can't do. He's not going to knock out Marvin Vettori. So, yeah, not much to say there. So, boom, those are my picks. 12 fights. To go over my picks one more time: Modestas Bukauskas by decision, Daniel Argueta by decision, Tereza Bledá by decision, Carlos Hernandez by decision, Cristian Quiñonez by knockout in the first, Alessandro Costa by decision, Salikhov by decision, Manuel Torres by knockout in the first, Sabatini by decision, Cristian Leroy Duncan by knockout in the first, Arman Tsarukyan by knockout in the first lock of the year, and Marvin Vettori by decision. Is it a good card? No. But always great to see Arman. It's great to see prospects like COD, Torres, and Quiñonez. And then you could have some surprising bangers. This could be fun. This could be fun. This could be Salikhov could be really fun. And this could even be a good fight. So, close fight, not a good fight. So, yeah, it does suck to fight through loss. Losing Hani really hurt this card, but besides that, I don't know, the card still holds up alright. Could be good, could be bad. Let's just get to next week in Jacksonville, which is a pretty good card. Ilya and Josh Emmett. I'm trying to, what else is on there? What's it? I think the Amanda Ribas, Macy Barber's co-man, I believe. Some good fights on that card. I think Tabitha Ricci, Joanne Robertson, Jack Jenkins is back. Like I said, Dalgas Umagulov got booked over there. Who else? I'm trying to remember. I don't want to pull it up because the order is not right. Some good fights over there, and should be a fun card. I'll break that down next week, Friday 1 p.m. EST, and the next time you'll hear from me will be Sunday 1 p.m. EST for a recap of this card right here, Vettori and Cannonier. So, not much to say. UFC Vegas 75 recap, Sunday breakdown done, and yeah. Tell me your picks down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, sub, 100 subs by the end of the year. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't think I am, as always, Jesus Christ, RX out. Another 1 hour RX video. I'm sorry.